Yeah.
Have you ever had that feeling like you can read English, no problem, but then you watch a movie or you try to have a conversation with some native speakers and it's like a
Yeah.
totally different language,
It's so common.
right? Like, it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought I was learning English. What's going on?
Absolutely.
And you're not alone.
Mhm.
A lot of people who are learning English have that same experience.
It is such a common thing, and it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You learn all this vocabulary, you learn the grammar,
Right.
and you think, okay, I'm good to go.
I got this.
And then you encounter real world spoken English.
Yeah.
And it's like, what
Just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is exactly what we're going to be diving into in this deep dive. We're going to be looking at a 5-step plan
Love it.
for improving English listening comprehension.
Okay.
And the cool thing is that this comes directly from a teacher
Uh-huh.
who's been working with students and has seen and heard this problem over and over and over again there in the trenches.
Exactly. So this is not just some theory that somebody came up with. This
Right.
is a real world
Exactly.
solution to a problem that so many people are having.
Love that.
We're going to go through these 5 steps and kind of unpack them and look at what's going on and how you can actually use this to improve your listening comprehension.
Awesome.
So let's jump right in. Step 1 is find a video or podcast.
Oh,
Now, that might sound kind of obvious, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, duh, I need to listen to something if I want to get better at listening. But
Okay.
there's actually a really important part of this that we need to unpack.
I'm intrigued.
Okay, so think about it this way. When you're learning something new,
Uh-huh.
it's so much easier if you can connect it to something that you already know,
Absolutely.
right? Like if you're learning a new word in English, it's easier to learn that word if you can connect it to the equivalent word in your native language.
It's that bridge. Yeah, exactly. So this step is all about finding a video or a podcast that is about something that you're already interested in.
Oh, I like that.
So let's say, for example, that you are really into gardening.
Okay.
You already know a lot of the vocabulary in your native language about plants and soil and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you find a video or a podcast in English about gardening, what you're doing is you're basically giving your brain a little bit of a head start.
We're building on what's already there.
Exactly, because you already have that framework of understanding in your native language.
Yeah. And that framework is like a scaffold,
Yeah,
right? It's like something to hang those new words and phrases on.
exactly. And it's way more engaging
Oh, for sure.
if you're actually interested in the topic, right?
Absolutely. If you're bored out of your mind, you're not going to remember anything.
Exactly. So step 1, find a video or a podcast that you're actually excited about.
Love it.
Something that you would want to listen to, even if it wasn't in English. All right, so now we move on to step 2.
Okay.
Listen and mark the timestamps.
All right. Timestamps.
So for this step, what you're going to do is you're going to listen to that video or that podcast. And as you're listening, you're going to take note of any time that you get lost,
Okay.
any time that you don't understand a word or a phrase or maybe a whole sentence. Just mark down the time.
So like pause it and write down like, oh, that was 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, so it could be something like 1 minute and 5 seconds. I don't understand that word.
Okay.
2 minutes and 56 seconds.
I have no idea what that phrase meant.
I love how specific that is
Yeah.
because a lot of times when we're listening, we just get this overwhelming feeling of like, I don't understand,
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Right?
But this is a really concrete way to kind of pinpoint,
Yeah.
okay, this is exactly where I'm getting tripped up.
Exactly. And that's the key because if you're trying to improve your listening comprehension, it doesn't help to just feel lost.
Right.
You need to know exactly where you're getting lost.
It's actionable.
That's
Exactly.
right. I love it.
So step 2, listen and mark the timestamps. Anytime you don't understand something, just write down the time.
Got it.
Okay. So now we move on to step 3,
Okay.
listen and guess.
Oh, fun.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to those timestamps that we marked in step 2,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to listen to those parts again.
Okay.
And this time we're going to really focus on trying to figure out what those words or phrases mean.
So we're not just going to be passive listeners anymore.
Nope.
We're going to actually try and engage with it.
Exactly. And you might be thinking,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what it means. How can I guess?
Right.
But that's okay. You're going to use the context.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to use the sounds of the words.
Okay.
Maybe you can figure out part of the word.
Right.
Let's say you hear a word and it sounds like preak.
Pre-kick.
And maybe based on the context of the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking, maybe that's prerequisite.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
So we're really using our brains here.
Yeah.
And I like that.
And even if you guess wrong,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Okay.
Because the act of guessing
Uh-huh.
is helping your brain to make connections.
Yeah.
It's helping you to pay closer attention to the sounds.
Absolutely. It's like a workout for your ears.
Exactly. So step 3, listen. And guess, really try to figure out what those words and phrases mean.
Okay.
All right, now we move on to step 4.
All right, bring it on.
Figure out the context.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of a continuation of step 3. We're still trying to figure out the meaning.
Okay.
But now we're going to zoom out a little bit.
Zoom out.
Yeah, so instead of just focusing on that one word or that one phrase,
Mm.
we're going to listen to the sentences before and after
Okay.
that part.
Gotcha.
So let's say, for example, you hear a phrase like, back on D-Day.
Back on D-Day.
And maybe you don't know what D-Day is.
Okay.
But if you listen to the sentences before and after,
Yeah.
you might realize, oh, they're talking about something that's happened a long time ago. So maybe back on D-Day is kind of like saying back in the day.
Oh,
Right.
I see.
So you're using the context, the surrounding information
Right.
to help you figure out what that phrase means.
So even if we don't understand every single word,
Exactly.
we can still get the gist of what's being said.
And that is so important for real world listening comprehension.
For sure.
Because in real life, you can't just stop the conversation and be like,
Hold on. Wait. What does that word mean?
yeah, let me Google this.
Exactly. So you need to be able to use the context to help you understand.
Right.
So step 4, figure out the context.
Okay.
All right. Now we move on to the final step.
The grand finale.
Step 5, listen one more time.
One more time. Right.
Okay. And you might be thinking,
Yeah.
I've already listened to this so many times.
I'm good.
But trust me, this last listen is going to be different
Okay.
because now you've already done all the hard work.
Uh-huh.
You've marked the timestamps.
Yep.
You've guessed the meanings.
You've figured out the context.
Absolutely.
So this time when you listen, you're going to understand so much more.
Oh,
It's going to be like a whole new experience.
I'm excited already.
And it's going to help to solidify all of that new knowledge.
It's like putting all the pieces together.
Exactly. And it's also going to help you to build your confidence
Mhm.
because you're going to realize, wow, I actually understand this.
Yeah.
I can listen to real world English.
It's like that feeling of accomplishment.
Exactly. And the more you do this,
Mhm.
the easier it's going to become.
Like anything, the more you practice, the better you get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So step 5, listen one more time. It's worth it.
Love it.
All right. So just to quickly recap our 5-step plan.
Okay.
Step 1, find a video or podcast that you're interested in.
Uh-huh.
Step 2, listen and mark the timestamps of any parts that you don't understand.
Got it.
Step 3, go back to those timestamps and try to guess the meaning of those words or phrases.
Okay.
Step 4, figure out the context. Use the surrounding information to help you understand. And step 5, listen one more time.
Awesome.
Now, the source also mentions that if you're still having trouble, even after going through these 5 steps,
Yay.
it can be really helpful to get some extra help,
Right.
maybe from a tutor
Yeah.
or a language exchange partner,
Absolutely.
just to kind of clarify those last few points.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it can really make a big difference.
It can help you get over that hump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, I really want to improve my listening comprehension,
Mm-hmm.
I encourage you to try out these 5 steps and see how they work for you.
It's a great roadmap.
It is. And think about all the amazing content
Oh.
that you'll be able to understand and enjoy.
Movies, podcasts,
Conversations with native speakers.
music, all of it.
It's like opening up a whole new world.
It really is.
It is.
All right. So that is our deep dive into this 5-step plan
Loved it.
for improving English listening comprehension.
Great stuff.
Until next time.
See you then.